Could you tell us your name and about your project?
My name is Peter Higgs, and my project was essentially about the origin of mass. I proposed that particles interact with a field present everywhere in the galaxy, and that gives the particles mass. It's a bit hard to imagine, so for conceptualization, this idea has been likened to if the whole universe was filled with water. It's significantly harder to push something in water because the resistance of the water makes the object seem heavier. In this way, the water gives the object mass.
What were you guys trying to do or find?
The goal at first was to unify the electromagnetic and weak nuclear forces. I and a few other scientists at the time realized that the equations involved in unifying the two would require particles which we knew had mass to be massless. So we set about trying to rectify this discrepancy.
Where did the project or experiment occur?
I did my research in Edinburgh and published my first paper in 1964. But the existence of the Higgs boson was confirmed by CERN's Large Hadron Collider in 2012, which is on the border between Switzerland and France.
What other significant events were happening around the world at that time?
There was a lot going on in the 60s. First man on the moon, a lot of the work that would later be wrapped up into the Standard Model, the emergence of computers, etc. It all fostered a heightened interest in science. In the 2000s, when the Higgs boson was actually discovered, so to speak, the technology was finally catching up with the science so that we could finally test these theories.
Who else was involved in the project with you?
A few others had similar ideas or ideas that influenced mine. Francis Englert and Robert Brout were two prominent scientists. In fact, the whole model is sometimes called the Brout-Englert-Higgs model. And then there were, of course, the teams of scientists developing the experiment and analyzing the data from the Large Hadron Collider in order to prove my proposal.
And what was your role in this project?
Well, I did propose the Higgs field, excuse me, but I would say that my largest contribution to the project was that I also predicted the existence of a new spin-zero boson that would achieve this effect. This boson was dubbed the Higgs boson. It's also sometimes called the God particle, a name I'm not particularly fond of.
What impact did your project have on the physics community?
The confirmation of the conclusions of my project was a big step in the field of quantum mechanics and the origin of mass. It also turned out to be useful in the understanding of the Big Bang because a spin-zero field would have been able to provide the force needed to create the Big Bang.
Very interesting. How was the existence of the Higgs boson proven?
It's hard to observe the Higgs field because the field is, by definition, invisible. But at the Large Hadron Collider, they had protons collide at near the speed of light. And Higgs bosons were created as a result of the collisions. Although Higgs bosons exist for a very short period of time, scientists were able to observe the bosons decaying.
Very interesting. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.